Hello, welcome back, and thank you for joining me. Every now and then, and by the way, this is something that I'm always open to doing, is there is a question from one of you that is very, very compelling. They're all excellent. Often, what I find is that it's a lot of typing to really type out an answer to it. And it's easier and perhaps more effective sometimes to record a single video and have this conversation in this format. So the question that we're going to go through here is from one of you. It is excellent. It's practical and very hard hitting, which I appreciate a lot. So thank you. It's an invitation that goes out to all of you at all times. If you have a question and you're willing to ask it, I will look at the comments because I do look at them several times a week. I will notice the question and either respond then and there in the comment thread if it's a quick answer, and if it's not, right here. So this one is certainly, when you hear the question, one that requires a video unto itself, and perhaps more, because this question comes up for all of us. So the context of it is okay, so this is a dream, it's an illusion, which it is. It is that. And there is nothing outside you, which there is not actually at all, which can be really disturbing to us because we see things playing out here in the dream that are horrific. The context of the question is Gaza, the conflict going on right now between Israel and Gaza, and the images of children and hospitals being bombed, people barricaded in and starved, all kinds of horrible things playing out on world news as we see it, yeah, in real time. Images of horror and starvation and death and fear, lots of fear. So, how do we sit here wherever we appear to find ourselves and still effectively say it's a dream, which it is, and there's nothing outside you, which there's not? Ooh, yeah, we run into all kinds of things with that, don't we? Perfectly normal. And a great question. The question goes on to say, what would a teacher of A Course in Miracles say if they could, in fact, communicate with somebody in Gaza? Great question. Well, so here's the thing with the Course. Universal means just that, universal. So the Course says what it says, and were someone from Gaza or somewhere else in the world paying attention, and in fact, maybe you are from there. Maybe you're from Israel. But, um, my own country is certainly no stranger to political violence. I live in the United States. That's world news too, isn't it? Yeah, right? So even if you appear to find yourself someplace rather peaceful, the message of A Course in Miracles is still the same, no matter where you are. And that makes a certain amount of sense, doesn't it? Because the words are what the words are. It says what it says. We have a lot of problems with that in life, don't we? We want it to say something else, yet it does not. This is a dream, and there is nothing outside you. Does that sound satisfying? Maybe not. Yet it remains the case. So the same things being said to everyone, everywhere in this course. And of course, maybe somebody from Gaza or that part of the world is not accessing this material, and maybe they never will. Well, there are family members of ours that will never access this material because they think we're nuts. Can you relate? I can. Huh, exactly. I mean, so the deal with A Course in Miracles is Who's really ready to accept that there is no world? Who's ready to accept that? It's real difficult to accept it when you're being bombed or when you're being overtaken by fascism. That was bound to come out at some point. Huh. This is a global audience. We're all watching the world news, so we know what's going on in the United States. We know what's going on in Gaza. We know what's going on in Ukraine. We simply know. It cannot be hidden with today's technology. And that is what it is. So, what do we do with it? That's the question. The Course says what it says. The Holy Spirit, who knows all of our individual circumstances, they look individual to us. To him, they're not individual. Yet he knows that we think that they are. So the guidance that we personally get from our inner teacher is going to necessarily look different than the guidance that someone else gets. And maybe they're right next door, maybe they're our next door neighbor, maybe they live in the same house as us. They're going to get what appears to be a different form of guidance. The content of that guidance is exactly the same. This course emphasizes, for our learning purposes, the difference between form and content. What appear to be the vast differences, the multiplicity of the world that appears to be outside us, is a difference in form. The content of the message of the Holy Spirit is exactly the same. Someone in Gaza gets the exact same message as someone in a much more peaceful part of the world. So, what they're invited to do or say in a particular circumstance is going to appear to differ. And if it's keep yourself and your family safe, there's an immediate threat. That's the message. And if it's smile and enjoy a relaxing cup of coffee in your relative comfort, wherever that may be, that's the message. The Holy Spirit knows what you need. He knows what we all need. So we appear to hear different things. Yet the heart of the matter, the essence, the content, to borrow the course's terminology, is the same. We're all being told to do the exact same thing. Cultivate the relationship with our inner teacher, allow it, forgive as much as we're capable in the current circumstances. And the current circumstances for one of us, for many people, may be so dire that it's literally stay alive. That may be the message. So it is an illusion. Of course it is. There is no world. It's a projection of our mind. There is nothing outside you. That one can be really, really difficult to get a handle on. That's why you don't see more people practicing this course. That's why you don't see millions of subscribers on every course teacher's channel on YouTube or social media or something, you know? I mean, that's why. Who's really ready to go there? Well, you are. You are. The world, as we appear to see it and inhabit it, is a projection of our. So the violence going on, for example, in the Middle East, in Gaza in particular, is a projection of our mind. That can be rather stark sounding. It's a projection of our mind. The fascist attempted and won't be successful, let's say, takeover of the United States is in our mind. We're dreaming that. A Course in Miracles is very profound, and it's really different than a lot of other traditions, isn't it? Which doesn't make it more or less or superior or inferior. There are no differences of any kind. The Course teaches us that. It simply says what it says and means what it means. Therefore, this video says what the Course says and means what the Course means. Oh my God, right? I'm finding that, yeah. But we resist that. It's our dream. This Course gives us something very powerful and very practical to do. Forgive the content of our own mind. And if you or someone else is not in a position where you are safe to do just that, then do as instructed. If your immediate physical safety is a concern, keep yourself safe. Why wouldn't the Holy Spirit tell you that? And I mean, good luck telling somebody in a war zone, oh, hey, it's all a dream. It's all in your mind. You're projecting this. No, that's not appropriate to say to somebody. So the Holy Spirit's not going to say that to somebody. They're not meant to hear that message at the moment because bombs are falling, for example, or they've got to get out somehow. There are many different scenarios that can play out. Yet the content of the message is exactly the same. We're noticing, and even from afar, when we notice political violence or division, hatred, abject rage, and incompetence. Oh boy, yeah. Playing out on the world stage, and we want to go there in our mind. We want to judge and label somebody a ridiculous idiot or worse. It's part of our mind. Donald Trump is part of our mind. We're projecting this. Always. You don't have to live in the United States to project it. There are no political boundaries, remember? How can there be? There are no divisions. There is no world. What's a nation state? It's made up. We made it up. Doesn't matter where you live. What is it really, actually? To be perfectly honest, it's this artificially drawn, weirdly drawn, and strangely shapen boundary that a bunch of people got together years ago and drew on this thing called a map that's supposed to represent this wobbling, spinning ball of rock and the exact shape or approximate shape of its floating things called continents and all that stuff that we take to be home sweet home, knowing the entire time, especially as we get into the spiritual path, that it's not our home at all, which you've always known. With some very profound ideas expressed here in the Course that you are ready for. You are. You're ready for them. Doesn't mean that you agree. You don't have to. Who cares? You don't have to agree with any of this. You don't have to agree with this Course. You don't have to agree with the messenger, which is a pixelated image on your screen. I'm fond of saying that, but it bears repeating. I mean, people have a penchant for attacking the messenger, dating back to, well, ancient times where messengers that brought bad news were killed. I mean, That is projection writ large in real time. If time were actually real, it's not. But as the saying goes, live, going on right now. We do this all the time. We can't handle our own guilt and fear. So we attempt to blame someone else. We attempt to blame another nation state. We attempt to blame a different religion. We attempt to blame someone on the other side of the world. We attempt to blame people that make our economy go and scapegoat them, or we blame an opposition political party. Blame, 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 projection, 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 and it plays out on our instant media in real time. Yeah, welcome to the 21st century, whatever that is. That's made up. The same way that a nation state's made up. It's nothing. There is no world. We are perfectly at home in God. Someone in Israel is perfectly at home in God. Someone in the United States is perfectly at home in God. Gaza, Ukraine, Russia, you name it. We're perfectly at home in God where we have always been. You want to know why? Ideas leave not their source. Ideas leave not their source. Thoughts remain in the mind of the thinker. Incidentally, in A Course in Miracles, we are known throughout as the thought of God. Thoughts remain in the mind of the thinker. Huh. Ideas leave not their capital S source. Mm, mm. So the final part of this question is a great one, and I really do appreciate it. It allows us to get really deep and practical, and I really do value that. Your skepticism has great value on the spiritual path. Give it to the Holy Spirit. Give it all to the Holy Spirit. And while you're questioning, keep questioning. Don't stop at questioning the truth and veracity of this course or any of the multiple pixelated images on your screen, messengers that talk about it. Keep going. Question the very foundations of everything you now believe. There is nothing outside you. This is a projection of our mind. We're forgiving the content of our own mind. What happens when we see peace instead? And even though the battle and the war rages around, it's raging around us right now. Remember, I'm in the United States. Talk about some drama, right? Bombs are not falling, but there's plenty of hatred and rage to go around. Huh. And even if you find yourself someplace stable, and that's excellent. I'm glad you do. There's still the content of our mind. There's still disturbance. Hmm, exactly. It's not outside you. There's nothing outside us. The Holy Spirit, what would the Holy Spirit say? What would a course teacher say to someone in Gaza? Well, maybe you're watching from Gaza. If you are, welcome. We should all know that we're loved beyond our greatest imagination. Let that sink in. The message of what we do or do not do here on Wobbling Spinning Ball of Rock may look very different, but the heart of the matter is exactly the same. We allow it. And if you happen to live someplace peaceful that's not going through a war, excellent. If you happen to live someplace where there is not political upheaval, excellent. We recognize our judgments. are blaming and scapegoating for what they are, an opportunity to forgive and do it. Forgive bombs, aggressor states, aggressor personalities. I mean, really. As a citizen and resident of the United States, to put it in historical context, there was Donald Trump's first presidency, too, from 2017 to 2021, with many forgiveness opportunities. And it doesn't matter who's president or prime minister, does it? No, it does not. It could be somebody that you voted for that still disturbs you. It doesn't matter what regime is in place. Anything that is not wholly joyous in our mind, in your experience, anything that's not completely 100% wholly and totally joyous is an opportunity to forgive. So we recognize, we bring our present moment awareness to as many of those as we possibly can. And we do it. And then we do it again. It's really difficult to reconcile these teachings that teach us there is no world. Central teaching is no world, there is no world. There is no world. You want to get a mala bead or a rosary out? Click. There is no world. Click. There is no world. Click. Why does it seem so real? Our mind is that powerful. It may take us a long time to fully appreciate that. However, the more you allow this to permeate, the more powerful you recognize that you are. I know you are. You know you are, but you've got to be ready to go there. I know that you're ready for this message, or you would not be hearing it. And I thank you for joining me. And I really do appreciate the hard hitting question. Yes, excellent. Now we're talking. Huh, that's good. So we're all invited to forgive. That's what all this is for. We're forgiving the content of our. Now, if you've watched this video up to this point, that tells me and should tell you everything you need to know that you're ready to do this. And if you've begun and embarked on this journey, you're ready, more than ready to continue this journey. So I invite you to join me. Subscription button here. If you haven't subscribed and you want to, do it, please. That's the prompt. It is, as we are saying, an international community, and my MO, my objective, my goal, if you want to call it that, for recording these videos is to share the Holy Spirit with you. There may be a nugget or two that really positively impacts your own journey. And that's the point. And if you happen to be inspired to continue to put these ideas into practice or to start putting them into practice, all the better. This channel exists so that I may share the Holy Spirit with you. It's one of many channels, obviously. I mean, there's a lot of channels right here on YouTube, like there are a lot of channels on cable TV, you know? Seriously, it's a lot. What's germane is that you're here today. Oh, I know. That is directly relevant. There are no accidents. If you live in a combat zone or a war zone, that's not an accident. If you live in a country undergoing political upheaval, that's not an accident. If you live in relative peace and safety, that is not an accident either. As we all experience, even living someplace in relative peace and safety, we've still got the content of our mind. We've still got our own egos, and that is more than enough for us to cope with, isn't it? Mm, for sure, right? So I hope that you found this helpful. I really do truly appreciate the question, and the invite is out there. It's constant. I always want to extend that. If you have questions, please feel welcome to leave them here in the comment thread. And I'm more than happy to take a break or a pause from our procession through the text of A Course in Miracles to answer questions just such as this one. So thank you again. Subscription button, click, subscribe, join. Yeah, it's a global community. And well, this course gets right to the heart of the matter. So do we. You deserve nothing less. All right. Thank you. I'll see you soon.